Alright, cool. This video is called Why Manifestation Feels Delayed. I'm going to explain it from an internal aspect, how it works, why it feels like this, and how to avoid it, counteract it, whatever you want to call it. So, most of the time, manifestation is not delayed. The subconscious, once you say you are something, once you say I am something, you have declared it and you are now that. The subconscious only obeys what you tell it. So if you tell yourself you're wrong, you're wrong. If you tell yourself you're right, you're right. So whatever you tell the subconscious, obviously if there's actual factual proof to whatever it is you're arguing about, then obviously that's where you can find if you're right or wrong. But I'm saying if it's an opinion, you're just as right as you are wrong if you say you're right or you're wrong. So anyway, why manifestation feels delayed is because people will internally think they have shifted but still be emotionally dependent on seeing their reality change. So with manifestation, it starts with an internal shift of you internally shifting. So self-validating yourself, understanding that you are now a better version of yourself once you declare that to yourself, because the subconscious obeys. Then getting in a state of relaxation, meditation, and being able to visualize or have like a 10-second cutscene of a significant other to you congratulating you, you can then, through looping that memory, you can then emotionally intensely feel it as if it's real. And the subconscious clings to emotional reactions of the body. So the more intensely you react emotionally, the more the subconscious remembers it. And then because you've now experienced this as this new version of yourself internally, it will then reoccur and keep becoming a regular experience. So you will keep experiencing that emotion intensely. Then once you are essentially experiencing that continuously, you won't even realize, but you're already that version of yourself. It's just now you're so used to it that you don't even think about it. Whereas before it was a manifestation, so it's something you was consciously aware of that you wanted more of. And then once you found it internally and self-validated yourself, you then see the results externally regardless, because internally you already told yourself you are that before the world did. So because you already told yourself you are the best version of yourself before the world did, you're essentially then operating from a new cause internally. So you're operating from the best version of yourself internally, which therefore when you're doing actions, you will get new results. And new results is the effect. So there's a new effect where it starts with the new cause, which is you shifting internally. Without shifting internally, you trying to change the action, but still being the old version of yourself or the version of yourself before that, you're going to get the same results because you're trying to change an effect through an effect. You haven't changed the cause first. So you have to change the cause first and internally shift and self-validate yourself. So even seeing signs, synchronicities, they're not necessarily signs or synchronicities unless you assign them as signs and synchronicities to yourself or to that version of you. But if you don't, then it's just signs that you see, like there's no significance to it unless you label it with significance. So there's that. Manifestation also feels delayed, or can feel delayed for some people, because they prioritize it. So like they constantly keep telling themselves they're manifesting, and they constantly keep trying to remind themselves that they're that version of themselves. But the thing is, if you're confident in something, you don't have to remind yourself. You only got to tell yourself once, and you know from there you're that. It's like if you say, it's like if you're a good swimmer and you've been a good swimmer your whole life, then every time you go swimming, you just say, I'm a good swimmer. and you know from there, you know it. It's like muscle memory. You don't even think about it. That's what manifestation should be like. You should once you have that written down version of yourself that you uh, now are, have the visualization of being congratulated for it by a significant other, and then emotion intensely feel it. After that, it's just muscle memory from there. Now you know everything you do, you're operating from that version of yourself, and that's it. It was eventually, of course, eventually, like at first, it might have to be, you might have to condition yourself, but over time, it will then start to become muscle memory. It will just be like, oh yeah, like I'm the best version of myself. So you're only thinking from the best version of yourself. That's the new cause. Internally, you've shifted to that version of yourself. So now that you're self-validated and understand that you're this version of yourself, reality, no matter what it shows, can't can't validate nothing, because internally you already know you're the best version of yourself. So through the actions, because faith without works is dead. So through the new cause, which is you being the best version of yourself, or whatever it is, the manifested version of yourself, internally, knowing that internally, feeling it internally, visualizing it, it's already taken place. You just then go through reality and go through the actions that you're doing consciously first as the best version of yourself internally. And then as time goes on, and you're obviously at first you'll be conscious of it, and then as time goes on, it'll just be like muscle memory, like the swimming thing. You won't even think about it. And because you'll be getting congratulated, you'll be celebrated, all these things achieved, accomplished, all these things happy, because you'll already be that internally, when it then does start showing up in reality, you won't even realize because internally you already knew you was that. So now reality is showing you again, you already self-validate yourself. So regardless of what reality shows, you already knew you was that before it was coming. So it's that simple. So manifestation isn't delayed in a sense of, it's not delayed like in the way that people think, as in it still shows up, but from an internal aspect, you have to already know you're that version of yourself. So when it does show up, it's just like an add-on. It's just like, oh yeah, this is what I knew was gonna come with this, because it's that simple. But if you don't shift internally and you still operate from the old version of yourself, through the actions, then the actions won't change. You won't get new results because you ain't changed the course. That's the main thing. The shift is internal and not being emotionally dependent on seeing your reality change. So internally shifting to the best version of yourself. And then when reality does change, not being emotionally dependent. So that's what I mean. When your reality then does change to the best version of yourself, it won't be a surprise to you because already you felt like the man, or you felt like the best woman in your mind already, in what it was that you're achieving or doing, or whatever you write that you want to manifest. But because you're already that version of yourself and then operate from that version of yourself internally, you've self-validated yourself at this point. So what reality shows or what reality tries to confuse you with, you won't be confused because you validate yourself first. So because you validate yourself first, regardless of what reality says, it doesn't matter, because you already validated yourself. So manifestation is not delayed, even though it could feel like that. It's not. You just have to operate from the version of yourself that's already manifested, and then emotionally intensely feel it through the visualization looping. And to visualize, just get in a state of relaxation, meditation, and you can make, literally, you can make a memory and visualize it, and then the more you visualize it, the more clearer it will come. The more you're looping it, the more emotionally intense you'll feel with it. And then over time, you might not feel as excited because of looping it. So the first time you'll feel excited, and as you're looping it, you won't feel as excited as time goes on. But this is the whole point. Because you're looping that and you felt it emotionally intensely all the way to nothing, essentially, again, you've already self-validated yourself to, you feel this, and then you're also used to it. So then, again, when reality starts showing you that once, and then you get used to it, it's no surprise because you're looping the same memory and doing the same thing. At first, it felt amazing, like the first time, amazing. And then as time goes on, you get used to it, you get used to it. But that's the more you're looping it in your head, you're getting used to it at the same time. And it's that simple. So once you signify that there's no importance, you felt the celebration or success or achievement, emotional intensity, and self-validating yourself and knowing that it's already taken place internally, so therefore reality has to show it back to you regardless. You then feel reassured, and then through that, you have to understand that you're good with or without it. So as within, as without, you have to be good with it or without it. That's another thing about being emotionally dependent on seeing your reality change. You shouldn't be emotionally dependent, so you shouldn't need it. Like I said, because you're so validated, you shouldn't need that. That should just be a bonus. That should just come with it. So it's first about shifting internally, changing the cause, which creates a new effect. Manifestation's not delayed. It just has to catch up to you in a sense. But it only catches up to you once you're good with or without it and understand that it's an internal shift first, which is the cause, a new cause, which creates external results to change, which is the effect. You can't try change actions if you ain't changed the version of yourself that's doing it. Otherwise, it won't create new results. It will create the same results, and then they'll wonder why they're still stuck in the same place. So that is why manifestation feels delayed and how to change it.